Hey everybody, thank you for the intro, Pascal. My colleague Andrew is here as well. He'll be helping throughout the presentation and with the Q&A. But yeah, I'm Wyatt. Like I said, Andrew's here. We're from Lit Protocol. We're developers and like DevRel. We work specifically right now on the Vincent project, which is what we're going to be covering today. And let me just start sharing my presentation. Perfect. Okay. So yes, building secure autonomous delegation platforms is kind of what we're focusing on today with our product called Vincent. Just to start off our agenda, we're going to be covering a little bit about what is lit, just to get you the background, since that's kind of the basis of what forms Vincent. Then we are going to get into Vincent and kind of like what it unlocks in terms of like capabilities. We're going to cover Vincent apps, which is, yeah, just the applications that are built using the Vincent framework. Vincent abilities is what powers these apps. And then we're going to cover some like high level overview of a couple different app ideas just to kind of give you an understanding of like how you could like compose a Vincent app using these abilities to be able to provide some sort of service. And then at the end, I have a QR code with some resources like documentation, our Twitter and our YouTube and stuff like that. And then as well as we'll open it up for Q&A. So yeah, to start off, what is Lit Protocol? High level definition is we're a decentralized key management network. And what that means is we offer programmable signing using decentralized keys. So we have something called PKPs, which stands for programmable key pairs. And it's basically just private keys that are decentralized amongst a bunch of different lit nodes. And so down here, we kind of have like a diagram of like what a lit node is composed of. So we have like the networking module, so it like talks to the other lit nodes. Everything exists inside of a TE, a trusted execution environment, and that's like sealed hard. It's a black box. We can't see what goes into it. The node operators themselves can't see what's going on inside of that. And so through that, we can trust whatever's executing there is supposed to be. It can't be tampered with and everything. And each lit node has its own key share. And it's the summation of at least 2/3 of these signatures from each node's key share that forms the basis of these decentralized private keys. Along with the key share, we also offer threshold encryption and access control. And so S key and then it's again through 2/3 summation of all of the signatures of these key shares from each lit nodes that'll actually give you the decryption key for a specific set of content that you've encrypted with lit network. And so when you encrypt information with lit, you provide these access control conditions, which basically define under what conditions this information can be decrypted. And we take the hash of your access control as well as the data, and that forms the identity of your encrypted information. And it's the signature of that hash, that identity hash, that acts as the decryption key. And so once 2/3 of the lit nodes have signed that hash, you get the decryption key to be able to decrypt that information. And like I said previously, we offer decentralized compute through these trusted execution environments. And so we have something called lit actions. And these lit actions are basically just JavaScript scripts that run inside of the TEE of the lit nodes. And so the idea being that you can kind of execute things like smart contracts, but instead of smart contracts being limited to whatever blockchain they're deployed on, this is all written in JavaScript. And so you can make use of JavaScript SDKs and libraries. You can reach out to Web 2 and Web 3 APIs. You can kind of just do whatever. It's operating inside of a Deno execution environment. So your options are kind of like limitless. And all, like I said, these lit actions execute inside of a TEE. And so the idea is you can pair in the encryption to be able to like decrypt information only within a specific lit action under the specific conditions you define by your access controls. And then you can also hook up the PKPs to do programmable signing. So you can have like some sort of PKP that is created using various different authentication methods from your user. And so that means Google OAuth, Discord OAuth, email, phone number, passkeys, even like custom authentication that you can write yourself. You can give your users like basically any way to prove their identity. and then you associate that identity with its own PKP, its own programmable key pair. And then the users provide their auth material whenever they want to sign with these PKPs. And so this can be done in and outside of a lit action. And so these lit actions is kind of just like the glue between these PKPs and these encryption to offer like more, I guess, like app-like, smart contract-like applications. So moving on, we have here on this QR link, this will come up later at the end with the resources, but this links to our Dune dashboard. And so this just kind of covers some of the stats for the lit network. We have this top number over here is the assets under decentralized management. And so this is assets that are secured by our PKPs across all EVM chains and Solana. This is like the number of cumulative encryption operations that have happened on our network, the number of signatures, the number of accounts, the number of wallets that have been created. This is our transaction volume, and then this is just broken down the assets under decentralized management per chain. Like I said, if you scan this QR code, it'll take you to, I forgot what it's called, a link tree of a couple different resources. And one of them is this AUDM Dune dashboard, which you can click on. Next up is what is Vincent? So at a high level, it's a non-custodial framework that lets users delegate scope signing authority to Vincent apps. And so that means that Vincent apps can offer some sort of service. Basically, it's going to say like, if you delegate me access to these Vincent abilities, which we'll get into in a second, I'll be able to perform this service for you on your behalf. And when you delegate, you're doing that on chain. You're not handing over your private keys as a Vincent user. And so the Vincent delegation platform basically allows these Vincent apps to sign transactions on your behalf to be able to execute things on chain without you having to be in the loop, without you having to click the button to say, yeah, I'm signing this. You don't even have to be online. All of this can be automated, and it doesn't even have to be a human that is making these transactions on chain on your behalf. That could totally be an AI or some sort of agent that's being offered by the Vincent app service. And so the non-custodial part is that you never have to hand over the private key. At any point in time, you can revoke delegation to these Vincent apps, and the Vincent apps there's nothing else that they can do with your account. Once you revoke that delegation on chain, it's not like they have your private key somewhere stored where they can like make transactions and rug you or whatnot. And then the scope signing is specifically that Vincent apps have specific Vincent abilities, and these abilities are what you are delegating execution on your behalf to the Vincent apps. So it's only these abilities the Vincent apps can execute on your behalf. And again, once you kind of like revoke the delegation on chain, those Vincent apps are like no longer executable by the Vincent app on your behalf. And these Vincent apps can do things like yield optimization. We'll kind of like dive a little bit more into that later, but that's across chain, that's across protocols. It can just basically interact with like any protocol that the Vincent app has like integrated. It could do cross chain token rebalancing, so it's the same thing. If you want to have a specific allocation of your portfolio on any EVM L2 or L1 or Solana or Bitcoin, these Vincent apps can execute abilities that talk to each specific chain, including like bridging protocols. The Vincent apps are really great for automated and scheduled transactions. And so that would kind of power these like token rebalancing, these yield optimization options. And the really nice thing about this is kind of like here at the tagline, anything that requires a signature can be safely automated. And so the idea is that these Vincent apps are running, some sort of server/service that can operate and execute these abilities on your behalf on some sort of automated schedule, or like based off of some sort of trigger, whether that be from Web 2 or Web 3, or some sort of like sentiment analysis or anything like that. And there can be a completely human out of the loop operation of the execution of these Vincent abilities. So this token rebalancing, this yield optimization is all event driven. It doesn't have to be someone on the computer looking at things and clicking a button. All this is happening behind the scenes, and it can be safely automated because, as mentioned before, the Vincent apps can only execute the abilities that you give it access to. And I believe we'll dive a little bit into it in the next slide, but these Vincent abilities also have policies, which are user-defined rules, guardrails that basically say how these Vincent apps can be defined or executed. And then lastly, as I kind of mentioned, AIs and agents can interact with various DeFi protocols using these Vincent abilities just to be able to power whatever service that the Vincent app is offering. Here we're actually going to go into a demo of Vincent Yield, which is a Vincent app that we have built as the Vincent team. This app interacts, it uses the Morpho ability to be able to interact with the Morpho vaults to basically find the highest yield vault and automatically deposit your funds into it. And so it's basically a yield maximizer specifically for Morpho vaults. And so this website is available at yield.heyvincent.ai. It's also linked in that Linktree QR code that I showed earlier, and I will show later as well. So don't worry about trying to figure out how to navigate here. That resource will be available to you. So what we see here is this is the Vincent consent screen. So this is what Vincent users will see when they navigate to your Vincent apps, Vincent consent endpoint essentially. So this is them. It's basically signing up to your Vincent app. And so you can see our title, Vincent Yield Agent, intelligently auto rotates your stablecoins to get the top yield on Morpho. And so here we're just going to simply connect with Vincent. And these are the various different auth methods. And so what's happening is Lit is going to generate a PKP for you under the hood, that programmable key pair. And one of these auth methods is how you're basically going to sign into your wallet. So we're just simply going to put our email. And then we're going to submit that email. And then off screen, I'm going to get the authentication code when it comes in. And so this just simply sent an email with this login code just to verify that I actually own this email. And then what that's going to do is either fetch an existing Vincent wallet, which I shouldn't have, or create a new one, which it should have done in this case. And so after we've signed into Vincent and we've authenticated and we have our Vincent wallet for us, it's going to prompt us to grant permissions to this Vincent app, this Vincent Yield app that we've created. And so here it lists the various Vincent abilities that are required for this Vincent app to perform its service for us. So see here, you can see that it's asking for the Morpho. And so this is the ability to be able to deposit, withdraw, and redeem on our behalf for using Morpho vaults. And so we can obviously decline and then nothing happens. It's just kind of the end of the execution path. The Vincent app can't do anything with our wallet. We've just declined complete access to it. Otherwise, we click grant permissions, and this is going to go through the consent flow of authorizing the Vincent app with its specific Vincent abilities on chain, and just commit all that information on chain, and then notify the app that it has permission to be able to execute on our behalf now. And so what we see now is just simply it's prompting us to deposit 50 USDC to get started with our Vincent Yield. And so we'll just copy this address. And then once again off screen, I'm going to transfer the funds. And so I'm just simply transferring 50 USDC on base to the wallet that is displayed on screen. And that wallet that's displayed on screen is my agent wallet specifically created for this Vincent app. And so each Vincent app, when a user signs up, gets its own agent wallet minted for that user. And so each agent wallet per app is like siloed. It's other Vincent apps can't access the funds from other agent wallets that were created for other Vincent apps. And so we'll refresh here. We can see that it deposited the money, and then we just simply activate the yielding. And so the Vincent Yield agent is essentially going to start investing this 51 USDC into various Morpho vaults, whichever has the highest yield, to kind of give us this 38.51 APY, which if you open up is currently the highest Morpho vault is offering 8.5%. And then we're adding our own lit protocol points as like an incentive on top of that. And so this is a Vincent app Specifically, this is a Vincent Yield app, which is available for any one of you guys to start using. As you can see, we have a total deposits of about 500K USDC already invested in this app from various users. And yeah, that's the Vincent app. So going back to the slide. So I touched on it briefly, but what is a Vincent app? Okay, yeah. It's essentially offering non-custodial services. They can perform both on and off chain actions using these Vincent abilities. And the idea is that all this is being done on behalf of Vincent users. We kind of already covered all of this, but they're composed of one or more Vincent abilities. So you can have several abilities to be able to perform the service. You can put everything into a single ability to be able to be a little bit more atomic. It's just kind of like Lego blocks that build up the Vincent app. And these Vincent abilities are optionally governed by specified Vincent policies. And so what these policies are essentially guardrails that are integrated with the ability. So a good one is for the Uniswap ability that we've created, you can have a policy that can set like the spending limit, the daily spending limit. And so it'll convert whenever the Vincent ability gets executed by a Vincent delegatee. So that's like the person authorized to execute the Vincent abilities on your behalf. It'll convert whatever they're trying to swap into USD amount, and then it'll check with an on-chain contract to say this delegatee is attempting to spend X amount of USD. Has this crossed over the limit that's been specified by the user? If it hasn't, it gives the green light and the Vincent ability execution can continue. If it does violate the policy that the user has set, it simply just blocks that transaction and the delegatee is not allowed to execute that ability. And so these Vincent policies are an additional layer of security for the Vincent users to be able to say yes and. Yes, I agree that you can execute this Uniswap ability on behalf. However, under these specific policies, under these specific like limits that I can set. These policies are like completely like they're programmed using lit actions as well, the same as the abilities. So you can customize these to like whatever makes sense for your application. Again, as mentioned previously, each agent wallet is specific to a Vincent app. So they're kind of like siloed. Again, Vincent apps can't interact with agent wallets that were minted on behalf of users for other agent wallets. And then these apps can be automated or triggered using on or off-chain events. And then going into the abilities, they are the building blocks. They enable secure permission actions like swaps, staking, and cross-chain transfers. These abilities are using lit actions that are in JavaScript, so you can interact with various JavaScript SDKs like the Uniswap SDK, for example, to be able to interact with the Uniswap protocol without having to like, create the transaction yourself and send an RPC request. You can, use the niceties of various SDKs to build these abilities. They all are executed inside of the trusted execution environments inside of the lit nodes. So you can read private data from your own Web2 database. You can decrypt information to be able to decide whether or not this ability should be executed or whether this user has permissions to execute this ability to interact with some sort of like Web2 service or something. You can decrypt API keys. Basically, whatever you need can probably be done inside of these lit actions. And you get the benefit that because it's having inside of a TEE, the node operator and anybody else can't see what's happening inside of the execution of that ability. Abilities are meant to be composable, so they can be written as like very minimal, like I'm just going to call Uniswap, or they can be a little bit more advanced and interact with several different DeFi protocols all at once to try to find like the best price or the best quote or something. And lastly, as mentioned before, they support Vincent policies. And so this allows the Vincent user to define restrictions on how these abilities can be executed. Next, we're going to go into just some kind of like high level architecture of various ideas for Vincent apps. For this idea of a cross-chain portfolio rebalancer, the idea is that this is the Vincent app. These gray squares are the abilities that would be used by this Vincent app, and then the blue are like the potential policies that the Vincent users could enable for each one of these abilities. And so for a portfolio rebalancer, that's like cross EVM in Solana, we'd want a Uniswap ability and a Jupiter ability to be able to do the swaps, the token swaps, as well as a deBridge ability to be able to transfer, like USDC from an EVM chain to Solana if that's what we needed to be able to, balance our portfolio. And so these blue squares are the policies. And so for a Uniswap ability, it would make sense to have like a daily spending limit, or for both of these, because they're doing swaps on your behalf, it kind of makes sense that they'd have the same policies of a daily spending limit, a token allow list. So like what specific tokens are you permitting this Vincent app to be able to swap? So you can kind of like allow list, popular tokens or like the top 100, tokens that are supported by Uniswap, for example, or like specifically deny, various meme tokens that you just don't want to touch. You think they're too volatile for whatever reason. And then allocation percentage, this could be like a shared policy that basically defines the percentage that you want on each EVM chain or on the Solana chain. And then each one of these abilities would be able to tap into that allocation percentage policy and be able to check, if I make this swap right now, does this violate the percentage allocation that have been given for this specific L2 or for Solana, for example? And then similarly for the deBridge ability, a daily spending limit, or this would be more like a daily bridging limit, as well as like the token allows list of what tokens can be bridged. So you can restrict it to say like, I only want USDC to be able to be bridged across, so that way I don't lose too much during the bridging process. And so these are the lit actions that would be executed by the lit nodes whenever the app delegatees want to execute them on behalf of the Vincent user. And so this down here is just kind of representative of some off-chain service that the app is using to be able to power the logic of this app. And so this app service would be like a server that's, fetching the balances, monitoring the portfolio, and triggering, actually executing the abilities whenever like, the price of one token starts to get high and you want to be able to sell some of that off and like transfer it to like Solana to kind of like do the rebalancing, as well as like tracking the transaction statuses and handling retries. So if a swap fails, if a bridge fails, automatically being able to reconcile that and continue providing the service. I am kind of running out of time, so I'm going to try to speed run these. Another idea is automated yield farming. So similarly, it's just a Morpho ability across, Morpho vaults, Lido ability for, staking, and GMX for like future trading. The idea is that like the app would be able to look at all of these different protocols and figure out what's going to offer you the biggest return on your investment, and it's the app service that's basically making that decision. And so this is kind of like the core of what the Vincent app is offering. Is they have a trading and strategy protocol that they're using to like determine which of this is going to give you the highest yield. They're fetching the balances, they're figuring out the reward rates, looking at TVL, and then ultimately they're executing which of these abilities to be able to like move your funds around to maximize that yield farming. And then lastly, an agentic polymarket bet app that's basically just interacting with polymarket and making bets on your behalf. App services looking for, signals on various like models that it's using, looking at news feeds, so various Web2 websites, looking at the actual markets, the pricing of tokens to kind of like inform that decision of whether or not I should place this bet on behalf of the user. Of course, trying to maximize, profit and minimize the loss. Yeah, so that kind of concludes the presentation. This QR code, if you scan it, will bring you to our link tree. It's got, I believe, yeah, I can click it. Okay. So scanning that QR code will bring you here, and I'll flash that QR code up one more time before concluding. But we have our Vincent starter app template. So this kind of just gives you everything you need to be able to run a dollar cost averaging Vincent app. So it basically just invests in a coin on behalf of the user. The user just deposits to USDC, and then we'll automatically invest, we'll automatically buy wrapped Bitcoin on some interval that the user sets. We have our ability and policy starter kit. And so this will help you get started with making your own abilities. We, of course, have the Vincent docs, which kind of like dive deeper into each one of these concepts, as well as some other resources. Our Vincent dashboard is what I've showed you previously. This is where you can log in and either sign up to the Vincent Yield app, or you can create your own app and register which abilities connect to it and all of that jazz. Our documentation goes into how to create the app, so please look into that if you have questions. And then lastly, we have like a lit protocol docs as well as that Dune dashboard that I showed previously. Up here, we have our Discord. Please join this if you have any questions or reach out to us on the ETH Global Discord and our lit protocol channel. Then we have our Twitter, our YouTube, and our GitHub as well, if you want to take a look at those. And let me just flash that QR code one more time. This will bring you to our lit tree, link tree. But yeah, that concludes the presentation. Now would be the time for questions.
Amazing. So everybody should be able to unmute yourself and ask questions. And there's also one big question in the chat that you might want to pick up first.
Yes, let me look. We're making a health guardian for the Aave protocol such that users' health factor is always good. And we will be using Pith network as an Oracle service. We will be further extending projects for multiple DeFi protocols and maybe some more features. My main question is that when we are using the Vincent Starter app provided by Lit, it's not really easy to work with as a beginner and feels overwhelming. Can you suggest us something how we can work further and integrate stuff like, for example, the Aave protocol? Yeah, so we have a YouTube video. Should be on our docs.hey Vincent AI. I'm trying to get the link for you guys. Sorry, I'm waiting for YouTube to load. Okay, so this link that I'm dropping in chat, and yeah, thank you, Andrew. This kind of walks through the Vincent Starter app and kind of explains like how it works under the hood. We are working to try to make our documentation better, but please reach out to us in the ETH Global Discord, and we'll be able to help you out more specifically and kind of like break down how you could implement the Aave protocol and the Pith for the Oracle service. Yeah, so kind of the advice is to check out that video to kind of understand conceptually about how the starter app kit is working. And then please reach out to us on Discord and we can further dive into the topics and answer question. And then we'll use those learnings to kind of like help update the documentation. But yeah, the Aave protocol will look pretty similar to the Uniswap ability that we've created, which you can find on our documentation, the docs.hey Vincent AI. If you go under ability developers, it'll be linked there. Uniswap. Let me also, yeah, but actually just please reach out to us on the ETH Global Discord, and I will be able to respond with those links for you. And then we can also hop on, we're doing dev hours tomorrow, Thursday, as well as Friday. I'll post the times in the ETH Global Discord. And so we can connect there and we can dive deeper into how you could build this architecturally. It's a little bit too much to kind of dive into right now, but yeah, just please connect with us on the Discord, and yeah, we'll dive deeper into them.